So on the coronavirus, the pandemic is set to cost Premier League clubs £1 billion in the 2019-2020 season. This is according to financial services firm Deloitte. With the games returning in just few days, how bad is the situation going to be? My man Gary L. Smith of the Sports Desk team, JoyNews Sports team, joins me for a discussion via Zoom. Hello, Gary.
Hi, Sandra.
I choose my man carefully. And I think that it's just fair that we do more sports, especially after that excellent production from the sports team yesterday on PM Express. Is that flattering?
Sort of.
All right, straight, let's move on. I mean, the 20 English top flight clubs had a combined revenue of more than $5 billion during the 2018-2019, the biggest so far. But that has certainly changed. Now that we have about 92 games, if I'm sure, remaining games to play, and they will be playing them behind closed doors. How is that going to affect the revenue, especially when it comes to broadcasting deals?
Well, yes, thank you. First of all, the biggest way the Premier League clubs get their money is through broadcasting deals. The second is through commercial sponsorships. And then third is match day revenue. So match day revenue is actually the third biggest way that they get their money. So how would it affect the broadcasting sponsorships? I don't think it will affect it incrementally, if you like, because the contracts have already been signed. The games are going to be played, so there's going to be that visibility. So it means then that nobody has to cancel their contracts, and that's what we are seeing. What will be affected, Sandra, is the match day revenue, because obviously people will not buy tickets to go into the stadia. But don't forget, most teams in England, for example, in the Premier League, get a lot of their money from season tickets. So that is where they can expect to recoup their money. However, some clubs have decided to be socially responsible to the extent that they are refunding whatever has been paid for the season. So that is where they might make losses. But there have been arguments today that despite the reading from Deloitte and the fact that so much money is being estimated to be lost, it is actually good for the game, because, people feel that there is such a thing as too much money in football, and that this period that is seeing a contraction in the revenues will force football to look for more innovative ways. But that's for history to judge, I guess.
Yes, talking about, innovations in football. Yesterday on PM Express, Carol Chabalala actually mentioned that technology is going to play a big role when the games return. How much is technology going to play an impact on the game moving forward?
Well, in places like Denmark, 2 weeks ago, we had an interview with a Danish journalist who, you may recall, when their leagues were starting, he said that they were using Zoom to replace the fans in the stadium. So what it is that they were having these huge, what do you call it? The things they use at the concerts. And so they were giving their fans the opportunity to log in via Zoom and cheer their players on. So that is probably one way that technology is going to change. Yesterday, we had a representative of La Liga also on the show who mentioned that, they are using fake noise in the broadcast. So just like we at Joy FM puts a bed of fans cheering in our commentaries to create an ambience and atmosphere, they are doing it on the television as well. And they are also using fake fans in the stadium, just like you see in the video games. So already these are three ways that we are seeing technology impacts the way football is experienced. But for we, the journalists as well, right now, if you look at all the major international networks, some countries in Scandinavia and elsewhere where football has started are doing their pre-match and post-match press conferences via Zoom without any physical contact at all. So that means that they are, yes. And then what is happening also is that in the Bundesliga, because of technology, the mixed zone press conferences are not being done, physically. They are putting spaces between the players and the journalists.
Right.
And so that is how they are getting their interviews.
Interesting. We wait to see how it pans out. But again, let's talk about, England and the Premier League has a culture where they have a way of preventing people from watching football games at home. And so that is just to encourage people to go to the stadia. with this new, reforms, if I can call it, people are no longer going to go to the stadia. And so what does that mean for TV rights and games that will be shown on TV?
Well, first of all, like I said, the TV rights deals have already been signed, so they are not going to be affected in that space. But to answer you more specifically, Sandra, as those who are watching may know, the BBC World Service, because it's a public trust, did not have the kind of money that the private broadcasters such as Sky and BT Sport and Amazon were paying for the Premier League. And so for many, many years, they were not showing the live games. They were showing only highlights. However, because we are not in normal times, the Premier League have decided that because the BBC, have the highest public viewership in the UK,
right,
they're actually giving them some of the games for free. So they are giving the BBC 4 games to show for free. And then what Sky are doing is that if you are already subscribed to Sky, they are giving you all the Premier League games for free without any additional subscription. The same is being done also, yes, by Amazon. So BBC, people in the UK, for the first time in their lives, people your age, my age, are going to see Premier League football for the first time on the BBC, for the first time, about 35
Very
or 40 years.
interesting. We wait to see how that goes. But again, let's take a look at the broadcasting revenue for the EPL from 2014, and it's coming up on your screens right now. If you can see, we start from the bottom, and it's 2014-2015 season, and it's 1,780 million pounds. And then 2015-2016, we had 1.92 million pounds also. And when you go down, up to the 2019-2020 season, is over 3 million pounds. And I said earlier that the projection is about 5 billion pounds. And so I asked earlier, let me ask you before you go, is it going to get worse in terms of revenue?
As you can see from the figures, the Premier League is an absolutely money-making machine. And, even if the monies go down, Sandra, they won't be too affected, because some people have said that the Premier League's biggest problem is actually that they have too much money, and so this may be the reality check that they need. But believe me, I think you and I are more worried than the Premier League about the revenue, because they are fine. They are doing,
certainly, okay. But Gary, before I let you go, I think you agree with me that Liverpool are the champions already, and it's just fair for you to officially congratulate me on TV. Let me take my credit. Congratulations
to Liverpool for winning the 2019-2020 title. We are just waiting for your celebration via Zoom. We'll be there and join you via Zoom.
You're always welcome to the family, Gary Al Smith. Thanks so much for joining me this evening.